From the beginning, Lena had always been the kind of woman who believed in the power of forgiveness. She grew up in a quiet home where apologies mattered, where a sincere "I'm sorry" had the power to mend broken toys and tender hearts. Her father taught her to speak truth with kindness. Her mother taught her that love without accountability was just noise. So Lena grew into a woman who loved deeply, listened intently, and hoped persistently, maybe too persistently. When she met Jordan, it was like the pages of a well-written novel falling into place. He was charismatic, confident, and had a smile that softened her walls. They met at a friend's engagement party. He was standing near the food table, cracking jokes about how weddings were overrated. She found herself laughing, genuinely. It had been a while since someone made her laugh like that. He asked for her number, and something in her hesitated, but she gave it anyway. Their first dates were like the warm build-up of a love song. Long walks. Deep conversations. Flowers for no reason. He called her Queen, told her she deserved the world, and she began to believe that maybe, just maybe, he was her answered prayer. Even when her gut raised small alarms, like how he always dismissed her concerns with a joke, or changed the subject when she brought up serious topics, she pushed the thoughts aside. She told herself love required grace. And maybe he just needed more time. But time, instead of bringing clarity, brought confusion. Lena noticed how apologies never came from him. When he missed dates, he brushed it off with charm. When he raised his voice during arguments, he'd later send memes or act like nothing happened. When he embarrassed her in front of friends with a harsh joke, she waited for a quiet word. The silence became louder than any words could. But it never came. One night, she sat across from him in his apartment. She had just told him that his comment the night before had hurt her, the one where he called her too emotional, in front of his friends when she was expressing concern about her job. He scoffed and leaned back. "You're too sensitive, Lena. It's not that deep." Her heart sank. She wasn't asking for perfection. She was asking for acknowledgement. An apology. A simple recognition of her pain. But instead, she got defensiveness. Dismissiveness. Distance. And it wasn't just that one moment. It was the pattern. The unbroken trail of moments where her feelings were stepped on, then ignored. Where his pride stood taller than their connection. She started journaling, something she hadn't done in years. Page after page filled with moments she had let go, grace she had extended, and apologies she had waited for that never arrived. She even took it to prayer. "God," she whispered one night, tears sliding into her pillow. "Am I being too harsh? Or is this the sign I've been ignoring?" The next morning, during her devotional, she stumbled on Proverbs 14 verse 9. "Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright." It was like a divine whisper to her spirit. Apologies weren't too much to ask for. Accountability wasn't extra. It was the minimum. Still, she tried again. She invited him to talk. She poured out her heart. She told him she didn't need grand gestures, she just needed honesty, softness, and growth. She needed him to see her pain and own his part in it. He rolled his eyes and said, "Why do you always make everything so heavy? It's like you enjoy drama." And in that moment, something clicked. It wasn't just about an apology. It was about the fact that he never saw her. Not truly. Not deeply. Her heart was a book he refused to read past the first chapter. The apology she had hoped for, begged for in silent prayers and whispered tears, wasn't coming. And if it hadn't come by now, after all the love, all the patience, all the chances, then it wasn't buried. It was never there. She stood up from that conversation with a calm she didn't expect. Not anger. Not tears. Just clarity. She walked away, and this time, she didn't look back. It hurt. Of course it did. Letting go of someone you loved never comes without pain. But what hurt more was losing herself in the process of waiting for someone else to grow. In the weeks that followed, Jordan reached out. Not with apologies. Just more of the same, jokes, memes, you tripping, texts. But she didn't answer. Her silence became the boundary she should have set long ago. and slowly she began to rebuild. She surrounded herself with people who saw her, who apologized when they were wrong, who validated her feelings, who reminded her that she was not too sensitive, but beautifully human. She started posting her thoughts online, anonymously at first. Short reflections on self-worth, healing, and red flags. One post, titled, "The Apology That Never Came," went viral. Thousands of women responded. Thousands who had also waited, who had also loved deeply and walked away bravely. She realized she wasn't alone. And neither were they. She didn't tell that story to paint Jordan as a villain. No. She told it to remind people that love without accountability is not love, it's convenience. That waiting for apologies from people who see no wrong in their ways is a prison built on hope and denial. And most importantly, she told it to remind herself, and anyone listening, that walking away isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's strength. It's obedience to the still small voice that says, "You deserve more." So if you've ever been where Lena was, waiting on words that never came, carrying pain that was never acknowledged, know this: you're not crazy, you're not demanding, and you're not wrong for wanting what love should naturally give. You're allowed to expect apologies. You're allowed to walk away when they never come. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you'll ever say is nothing at all, just quietly packing your peace and choosing yourself. If this story touched something deep in you, don't scroll away. You're not alone in your journey, and you never have to be. Red heart, hit the like button if you believe every woman deserves to be seen, heard, and valued. Speech balloon, share your story or your thoughts in the comments. Someone might need to hear what you have to say. Bell, and don't forget to subscribe for more faith-based relationship wisdom that heals, empowers, and frees you. This is Relationship Wisdom, helping you love smarter.